Alright everyone, New Zealand and Australia are both starting to ban and block a bunch of websites and content. It's like Facebook was scrambling because, of course, the Christchurch shooter, which is central to this, was broadcasting live there. And so they're like, oh my god, we need to do more. We removed, like, what was it, 1.5 million instances of that video. And I'm thinking to myself, why exactly would you want to block it in the first place? Don't you want, I mean, if somebody's got violent fantasies and they're watching this for entertainment value, they're going to obtain it anyway, whether you threaten them or not. I heard that a 14-year-old kid in New Zealand is being charged as a felon now for having a copy of this video that he downloaded. That's fucking ridiculous in every possible way. And if somebody's just interested in seeing it, you know, for reasons that aren't, you know, weird or malevolent, it doesn't make any sense to try to keep them in the dark. This idea, this nanny mentality whereby people can't be trusted to actually, like, consume the wrong think media. Censorship is never for benevolent purposes. I find it very suspect that the blood wasn't even dry on the floor and they were already talking about sweeping changes to their gun control policy and cracking down, trying to jail people for spreading the video. We live in a worldwide internet. Are New Zealand and Australia going to perpetually ban most of the alt media? In other words, all like Bitchute got blocked because it has copies, I guess, of the Christchurch video, and their point is, hey, it's not illegal under U.S. law. We're not a New Zealand firm, so we're not going to remove this content. It's like this sort of shit has been on the internet all along. Have you ever heard of Ogrish? Have you ever heard of Rotten.com or any of these other sites, or you know, early back when it was more edgy, maybe E-Bombs World and some of the sites like that? Hell, Funny Junk and Newgrounds. There are a fucking billion websites. 4chan certainly, especially in its early days. This stuff's already been there, and all of a sudden it's being used as a societal issue. Now, I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's a ploy by the lamestream to try to crack down on the edgy sites because that's where all of the good shit is. Not like, oh, killing video stuff. No. But that goes hand in hand with analysis, edgy political commentary. You know, sort of intertangles at this point with the lewd culture sort of thing, or subculture you could call it, anime and everything like that. All of the weirdos of society have conglomerated, they've built the internet, and now a bunch of losers are trying to take control of it. What it essentially boils down to this, it's an intercultural struggle where a bunch of fucking weirdos, nerds, and people who are out there and have weird beliefs and who got laughed at and shunned sat in their fucking basements on a computer, built a bunch of websites and apps and services, a bunch of dropouts and people like that built the internet that you use today, and now all the preppy kids are coming along pretending like they were the ones that built it. And like they're the ones that deserve to have only their words. They're all right think is right, wrong think is wrong. It's fucking total logic here. It's essentially what it boils down to. It's a bunch of bullshit. And if they're successful, we'll enter an informational dark age in which suppression of information is not considered wrong, it's considered the norm. It's like a standard fascistic corporate practice, and that's what they're slowly expanding into. And then something else will literally have to be built. You'll need a parallel, you'll need a second internet, essentially, that's more or less separate from the first, or you'll need a new technology to come along that doesn't use the same architecture, doesn't use the same platforms at all, and is little more than a spin-off of the internet with some innovation that allows it to take hold. You'll need another internet. If we lose the internet that we've got, you know, we're fucked for a very long time. And so you've got it's like when Tumblr says we're not going to have porn on our site anymore. Why the fuck would you use Tumblr unless you wanted to see titties? It doesn't make any sense. There's nothing else there worth watching. Oh, and look, I drew a cartoon. Yeah, okay, put it on a site that matters, dude. Nobody's going to see it on Tumblr. Nobody cares if it's... They even go after lewd material now on their fucking website. And it's enraging because it's a bunch of bullshit. There is no societal problem. The idea that you have a mass shooter so you have to change fundamentally every aspect of society and censor and give governments and corporations control and be afraid, that's exactly the opposite of what you should be doing. No, what you should be doing is using your common sense and saying this is a one-off, it's a very rare event, we shouldn't overreact. It's one thing to mourn and say, well, you know, there's some fucking psycho shot a bunch of people. Well, now you're just taking millions of other people and you're ruining lives. You're preventing innovation. You are literally giving the shooter exactly what he wants according to his own fucking manifesto. And can New Zealanders and Australians even read the manifesto? I think they're not even allowed to do that. So, you know, the government can tell them basically whatever bullshit they want and they'll be in a vacuum. Unless they use a VPN and then they risk jail time for that. 10 years, up to 10 years in prison for having a copy of this video. Why? So you might as well ban violent video games, you fucking moralist. Scumbags. The government of New Zealand are a bunch of fucking scumbags. The government of Australia, too. These people are scum. These are the enemy. These are the real fascists, the authoritarians that want to tear apart culture. They just want to make money off of everything, and the only people they want to make content are the preppy kids. Well, it's exactly that kind of atmosphere that leads to the sort of behavioral alienation that spawns the mass shooting, the Columbine-style mentality. You remember when they blamed that on heavy metal and shit like that back in the day? Now they're blaming this on 4chan and Bitchute. Oh my god, the evil alternative media. Evil alt-tech. Alt-tech means alt-right. BuzzFeed told me so. It's the same fucking bullshit over and over for a new generation. It's just, this is the millennial answer to all of the dilemmas of Gen X. This is the answer to heavy metal and grunge rock and the gothic movement and Howard Stern and MTV and Beavis and Butthead and all the good things in the world at the time. It's the early wave internet when it finally comes out and people are making like .coms. Now the millennial generation, we have social media, lamestream tech versus alt tech. Are we going to have a free and open internet where people can speak their mind, engage in commerce, or are we all going to shutter ourselves, devolve into a bunch of echo chambers that never interact with one another? That's what it fundamentally boils down to. And it's fucking bullshit. Fuck the government of New Zealand. That's about all. Peace out.